The first thing my mother said when she walked into my uncle's will reading wasn't hello. It was, "I assume we're here to discuss the trusts." She was dressed in black Chanel, pearls resting perfectly at her throat, eyes already scanning the room like she was counting money that hadn't been handed to her yet. She didn't recognize me at first. That was the funny part. I was sitting 2 rows back, calm, composed, legs crossed, hands folded. No tears, no nerves, just waiting. Waiting for the same woman who disowned me at 15 to finally realize who was about to decide her future. 10 years earlier, she'd stood in our kitchen and told me I was no longer her daughter. I was 15, pregnant, scared. My father didn't even look at me when he said, "Pack your things." No goodbye, no hug, no phone calls after. They told the neighbors I'd run away. The truth? I was dumped at a bus station with a trash bag of clothes and $50. The only person who came looking for me was my Uncle Robert, my father's older brother. Wealthy, private, childless, the black sheep of the family they loved to mock, until they needed money. He found me crying in a women's shelter 3 states away, and instead of asking questions, he said, "You're coming home with me." That night changed everything. He raised me, paid for my medical care, helped me finish school, taught me how money really works, quietly, strategically, without noise. While my parents rebuilt their lives pretending I never existed, my uncle built me into someone they wouldn't recognize. Now, 10 years later, Robert was gone, and everyone who had ignored him for years suddenly cared very deeply about his will. My parents arrived late, confident, whispering about property and offshore accounts. Mom laughed softly and said, "Robert always favored family." That's when the lawyer cleared his throat. "Before we begin," he said, looking directly at me, "I need to confirm that Ms. Evelyn Carter is present." My mother froze. Slowly, painfully slowly, she turned around. Our eyes met, and I smiled. The room went silent in that thick, expensive way only rich people know, where no one speaks but everyone listens. My mother's smile collapsed like it had been dropped. "Why is she here?" she snapped, standing up. "This is a private family matter." The lawyer didn't even look at her. "Ms. Carter," he said again, to me, "as the primary executor and beneficiary, you are required to remain present." Primary? Beneficiary? My father stood up so fast his chair scraped the marble floor. "That's impossible. Robert wouldn't—" "Sit down," the lawyer said sharply. That was the first time I saw fear touch my parents' faces. The lawyer began reading. Robert's voice echoed through the pages, precise, calm, devastating. He left charitable donations, business holdings, properties, art. Then came the line that broke them. "To my niece Evelyn Carter, whom I raised as my own when she was abandoned, I leave the entirety of my personal estate, including controlling shares in Carter Holdings, all residential properties, and liquid assets totaling—" My mother laughed, loud, hysterical. "This is a joke," she said. "She's unstable. She was a teen pregnancy disaster. Robert was manipulated." That's when I stood up. For the first time, I spoke. "I disowned you at 15, I said quietly. "You signed papers, remember? Said I was dead to you." My father's mouth opened, closed. The lawyer pulled out a folder. "Those papers," he said, "were notarized and later attached to Mr. Robert Carter's estate planning." My mother's voice shook. "What does that mean?" "It means," the lawyer replied, "you are legally not family to the decedent." The room exploded, shouting, crying, threats. Then the lawyer delivered the final blow. "There's more." He turned to me. "At Mr. Carter's request, this letter is to be read only if your parents appear expecting inheritance." My mother screamed, "Read it!" The lawyer did. Robert had recorded everything. The shelter, the pregnancy, the abandonment, the lies they told. He'd kept messages, emails, witness statements. And then the last line, "To my brother and his wife, you lost a daughter the day you chose pride over responsibility. Do not speak her name again." My mother collapsed into her chair. That's when the door opened. Another lawyer walked in and said the words that made everyone gasp. "I'm here regarding fraud investigations tied to prior transfers you assumed were protected." I didn't smile to myself. I just sat back down. They never got the millions. They didn't even get sympathy. The second lawyer laid it out clean and brutal. My uncle had uncovered years of financial manipulation involving my parents, accounts they believed were hidden under his protection. They weren't. He'd set traps, and they walked straight into every one. By the end of the reading, my parents were staring at potential lawsuits, frozen assets, and a future they hadn't prepared for. They tried to talk to me afterwards. In the hallway, my mother grabbed my arm. "Evelyn, we can fix this." I looked at her hand on my sleeve and gently removed it. "No," I said, "you can live with it." My father whispered, "We were young. We made mistakes." "So did I replied. "I survived mine." They watched me walk away. I didn't look back. 6 months later, I renamed Carter Holdings, not after family, after legacy. I funded shelters, legal aid for teens, education programs. I raised my child in a home built on honesty, not image. And sometimes, very rarely, I think about the girl at the bus station with a trash bag and $50. She didn't know revenge would be quiet, that it would come with patience, that the loudest punishment would be being erased the same way they erased her. My uncle once told me, power isn't taking from people, it's deciding who gets nothing. Now I understand, and so do they.